Hey guys, I'm back here with this 55 T-Bird I've been doing a bunch of metal work on. And I'm going to show you what I did yesterday and then what I'm going to do today, and I'm going to post another video of me doing it. So this car came to me, it needed just a little TLC. The door gaps were off, so I ended up welding the edges of the door gaps. All the door gaps are consistent to a tool that I've made of 3/16 of an inch. Here is the tool. It's just something real similar to a piece of aluminum that, I mean, if you guys wanted an 1/8 inch, you guys can do the same thing, but you just basically run this down. If you have a gap, weld up the end of the door and then come back and grind it. And that's how a lot of these high-end builds on these hot rods and classic cars and stuff, because back in this era, the door gaps were atrocious. So everything you see bare metal that I've actually done something with. So here was a vent, a fresh air vent that was cut out, welded up, metal finished, and kept the body line back straight. Headlight buckets were reworked, marker lights were filled. The hood was all gapped all the way around. And then on the lead seams, this is what I was kind of taught to do. Instead of lead, you put in a filler piece of metal. It's less body filler, less plastic filler. So I did both sides there. You can kind of see it better here. So this is actually a true lead seam. It's less than probably maybe a 1/16 of an inch deep. It just requires less plastic, and plastic tends to crack over the years. So here's the door gaps on this, or the trunk gaps, so you guys can get an idea of what classic car building is coming to. It's no longer just paint the car, it's go over this car every nook and cranny. This side is the same with the door gaps, 3/16 of an inch. That one. So this fender here was recently filled. I just reworked it and got it the best that I could. I could cut it out, but the customer said, don't waste too much time on it, just kind of get the body line back out. So I made this from a flat sheet. Pretty cool little exhaust plate. I told him with the exhaust sitting out there, it's gonna, discolor the paint and all this, and this will kind of break some things up. So it's just out of aluminum. And I made it by hand. You could make it with a CNC machine, however you want to do it. But it does have a radius to the rocker. So I heated it up and annealed it and then bent it over a kind of a round radius. So that's that. So what I'm going to talk to you guys about is what I did yesterday. So this piece here, this is the original skirt. The customer welded this onto the existing fender, given this lip to match the front, or very similar to it. So what happened is, what he should have done was take the right side, the original side, and put it on the other side, because this piece here was actually clear down here when he welded it on, and then the back of, or the front of it was like stopped right here. So what I ended up doing, I ended up taking a pie cut out of this, cutting the existing off. You can kind of see the line here where it was. Took that off and molded it to where it's a smooth transition here. And then on this side, it was a little short. So I brought it back in, or I brought it back out to where it kind of feathers into the quarter. So I'll back up to where you can kind of see, now it looks more proportioned. And then I'll show you the aerial shot of kind of looking down the car. It's gonna be kind of hard to tell. See how it just kind of tapers and goes away to nothing? The front's a little bit more ideal for me. That's the way I like it, where it just kind of disappears. I'm gonna go to the other side and you guys could have an idea of what it really looked like. So as you can see how it's just too hideous. It doesn't it doesn't flow here, and it's real sharp here. It's probably inset over a 1/2 inch right here. And I want it to tear to nothing. This side here I haven't started on. I'm gonna start it on this morning. I just ground the paint off. From this body line is where I'm getting my measurement from. And I'm dropping down 7 3/4 of an inch. So both of them are gonna be at the same height. That's where you see this black line. So I've gotta go from nothing and out here to, you know, like kind of a taper in. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna try to shoot another video of me in the process of doing it. More and more you guys wanna see some of the skills that I'm doing. It's just something that, you know, we've done in the past. I've made complete fender flares, but it's usually in a job like this, you've got to rework something else that somebody's kind of already attempted. And then once I go from there, I'm gonna come up here into the engine bay, and the old heater box opening, I'm gonna end up cutting all that out that you see marked in black. And then I'll bead roll a new piece of sheet metal and TIG weld it in, just to kind of show you guys a little bit of, I mean, this would be considered basic metal shaping skills, but at the same time, you've got to learn somewhere. So this isn't running the English wheel or nothing like that, but it's something that has to be done, and it will definitely make a difference when this car is finished. So if you guys stay tuned, and I'm gonna try to get a little bit more in depth on some metal shaping videos here in the next couple days. I'm wrapping this car up. I'm just doing the little custom things that the customer wanted. And I'm gonna try to get it wrapped up before Christmas as he leaves to go on vacation. I have to do, like I said, a little bit of custom things, and then these door panels are the next item I have to do. We're gonna end up welding them onto the door. He turned this car into a roadster, so there's no door glass. There's not gonna be a roof on it. And what I talked him into doing, because this looks hideous, he's already welded this up, the customer did. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this door panel on, and I'm gonna weld this door panel on. This is all gonna get painted the same color as the car. On the inside, I'm gonna turn the camera. So as you can see, when it's up, there's actually a good sized lip underneath, so the upholsterer could actually make the door panel, and it tucks up underneath. But instead of having a body line here or anything like that, it'd be totally smooth. And then he's got the original chrome and the latch here that we're gonna rework, that we're gonna build a piece of chrome. But we're gonna either do it we're probably gonna do it out of brass, and I'm gonna mold it, because it's wider here. I'm gonna mold it to a thin line, and then it's gonna open back up, and it's gonna tie into the A-pillars. And then I've obviously gotta rework the A-pillars. So this week's gonna be pretty busy here at Iconic Metalworks, but I'm gonna try to see if I can knock all this out, along with you guys kind of hopefully giving me some motivation. Because outside right now it's getting ready, it's supposed to start snowing, so it's pretty chilly. So I figured I'd just stay in the shop today and turn up the music and put the welding hood on and get to town. Stay tuned, and I'll have some more videos on that lip back there. Not saying that you guys all want to do this on your cars, but you kind of grasp somewhat of the idea of what we're trying to accomplish here. It just looks a lot more stock that way, instead of somebody trying to put some part on the car that didn't belong. But it'll be a cool little car. So the motor that's going in it is a Ford EcoBoost 4-cylinder turbo. The customer actually built his own chassis, did an amazing job for not doing this for a living, you know. It's a fat man front clip. Ran his brake lines and stuff. So this will be a cool little car, summer car, that he could really go out and enjoy. So you guys stay tuned, and I'm gonna start posting some more sheet metal shaping videos, and I even have a couple tips that I want to share with you guys here coming up that I've just kind of come across and what I've learned in the past that I guess I'd say I take it for granted, but a lot of you guys don't even know. I mean, I've been fortunate to have good mentors in my life that taught me some stuff that is a dying art. So stay tuned, and I'll show you some more of what I'm doing today. All right, so now you can see that I cut this off. And I have this cut because I made this piece here I'm gonna show you. So I just put it in the brake, and I bent it to 90, and then I went over to my shrinker stretcher, and I stretched this lip right here, and then it has a curve in it, as you can see how it kind of rolls this way. So I shrunk it here. So you're gonna see this piece come in, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna end up welding that piece in like that. It fits a lot better than, so I'm gonna end up welding that piece in like that, and then I'll come in here and I'll have to build a filler panel right by my thumb to tie it all in. But you can see just that, how it's going back into the quarter panel. And then, so once I do that, and I get it all welded up, yeah, see, it'll flow real nice and back into the, so I'm gonna start welding, and then I'll show you this piece here when it's all said and done, and then I'll weld it, and then I'll start metal finishing it, and I'll show you how I got to it. So here I got it all welded up. As you can see, I had kind of pied everything in, but I've got the flow that I want as it comes up and around. So I'm gonna start grinding and metal finishing this piece. I still gotta weld it right in there to really make it tie in, and then onto the front. But as you can see, it came out pretty good. And then so this is called heliarc or TIG welding. And I use a Miller Syncrowave 180 SD. And I converted it over to water cooled and built all my own water cooled stuff. So this is the machine I'm using. I got a little trick for you guys here. So when I weld this stuff, as you can see, my heat transfer line is very faint to what I'm welding. So what I use here is, this is wire feed wire. It's 70S2, but it's so thin, this melts a little bit faster than what this is. So as I'm TIG welding, I will get this to where it's ready to melt, and then I add my filler rod. So the thinner the rod, the less distortion you're gonna have on this panel. I use all my sheet metal like this, whether I'm building a motorcycle tank or a fender, just for the distortion. It's less work for me to try to metal work it. But this is how I get it all welded, and then I'll grind it, and you'll be able to see the finished product like it wasn't never even messed with. So I got it all metal finished. As you can see, it kind of flows real nice into the quarter panel. Obviously a little bit of filler inside there in the existing weld where the owner kind of spot welded it, but I'm pretty pleased with it. It matches more of the front. The front I just got to add a little bit to and kind of reshape it, but it really looks good. As you can see, kind of just falls off just like we wanted. Making progress. So I'm going to do the front, and then from the front I'll start on the firewall, which I'll have a video for that as well.